Welcome back. You're watching Overdrive. Now, KTM brings a wide range of motorcycles to India, which makes it a very popular brand for riding enthusiasts. But it's been almost 2 years since the KTM 390 Adventure launched in India, and it hasn't received an update. Well, that time has finally come. They have given the motorcycle a few small updates. Let's find out what they are.
It's easy to see why adventure motorcycles are gaining so much traction in a country like ours. Well, because they're supposed to be built to handle it all, from varying road conditions to trying weather conditions, you name it, these bikes are built for it. Now, KTM already has 4 different variations of the 390 Adventure already out in the country. This one, which we have right here with us today, this is the Adventure 390X. This is the most affordable of the 4 variants. Now, we are going to be checking out the highest spec variant, which is the spoke wheel version as well, over the next couple of days. So, we are going to find out how good these motorcycles actually are at what they are meant to do.
Now, let's start off with the KTM 390 Adventure X. Although it's the most affordable of KTM's 390 Adventure series of bikes at this time, this one still looks identical to the standard 390 Adventure model that's already being sold out here in the country. And that's because for most part, it actually is. Not only are the lights, panels and the tank the same, but parts like the split trellis frame and most importantly, that brilliantly explosive 373cc liquid cooled single that puts down 43.5 PS of max power and 37 Nm of max torque, all shared between the pair. Even the seat height and curb weight is identical. So that's the best part about it. In essence, it still remains the same comfortable and powerful machine that we've come to appreciate over time. Changes in the low-end variant come in the form of, firstly, the big piston fork up front and the rear monoshock, which perform very well out on road expeditions and are fine for your off-road excursions as well, but honestly not the best on offer here. Secondly, the X doesn't feature any IMU or sensors, so there's no cornering ABS, traction control or even ride modes for that matter, like with the other KTM 390 Adventure models. So the switchgear as well is a bit different. No fancy TFT screens on this one too, just the LCD unit that's been lifted off KTM's lower capacity Adventure model. Like the V variant of KTM's 390 Adventure series, which gets the same suspension setup as this bike, but not as much travel and a lower seat height, the X can be seen as a slightly more road-biased motorcycle on account of its suspension setup alone. But then again, it's still got that immense touring potential that makes this bike awesome. Another notable aspect about this bike is that unlike the standard and top-end spoke wheel models, the X gets MRF tires instead of Metzeler Touring Treads, which didn't feel as nice and grippy on rougher patches. So what did I find the X to be lacking in route? Well, to be honest, there's really a lot to love about this machine. Still, you could say that first-timers to the segment might miss the electronics suite that give you that safety net of learning. But then again, more experienced riders might not feel the same way, but they definitely will miss having spoked wheels on there.
Now, the 390 Adventure X is the most affordable of the 4 variants that KTM has on offer in the country, and it has a lot of things working in its favor. First of all, it still has the engine, the chassis, that setup which we've really come to love and appreciate over the course of time. A good amount of power, good amount of maneuverability. It's nice and light, 177 kgs, good power to weight ratio. Very nice and easy going, easy to manage. It is lacking in terms of some electronic features. Well, you don't get ride modes, you don't get the cornering ABS, none of that IMU jazz. But then again, you do get the essentials that you would like to take off-road. Like you do have a slipper clutch, you do have off-road ABS, and of course you have the ride-by-wire throttle and LED lights if that is your fancy. So there is a good amount of kit on the motorcycle and there's a lot to appreciate. But then again, if you wanted something more in terms of adjustability and configuration, well, KTM has another version of this same motorcycle that should be right up your alley.
This is the top spec KTM 390 Adventure spoked wheel variant. A motorcycle that costs around 3.6 lakh rupees ex-showroom, and it's got all the goods that KTM India fanboys have been craving for a long time. It's got all the electronics mentioned before, and yes, KTM is finally offering spoked wheels and adjustable suspension as part of the 390 Adventure package. So now that it's here, Is it finally worth the painful wait? The answer? A big, big yes. The spoke wheel variant of the 390 Adventure gets all the good stuff that you could have asked for. LED lights, adjustable levers, a slipper clutch, quick shifter, ride-by-wire throttle, even the stuff that a rider lacking some bit of confidence like cornering ABS, traction control and ride modes, it's all in there. Now if you buy a KTM machine, you are definitely expecting performance from your bike, and by Jove this one has it as well. It's as comfortable as before too, with generous seating room for 2-up and even Rider Plus luggage. The highlights of course of this machine are the new suspension and wheels over the standard model.
Now obviously the USP of this top spec spoke variant of the 390 Adventure has to be the open cartridge upside down fork up front, which is fully adjustable. You get 10 clicks of preload adjustment, 30 clicks of rebound and compression. The monoshock at the rear too has preload and rebound adjustments, no compression settings out there. But the major difference is with the standard variant, well, that model you had to really manage with what the bike was capable of doing. But now this machine with the current setup, well, it has the capacity to manage your particular riding style and preference. Given your terrain and your settings and whatever you want, you can configure the motorcycle and personalize it according to your fancy.
Having a customizable suspension setup means that you can get the bike to behave and react exactly the way you want to, depending on your weight, the terrain and the speed you're comfortable traveling at. Long sections of well-paved road, well, stiffen up things and stay well planted. Some lumpy sections of trail coming up, dial in some comfort settings and soften all the blows. Having the option to customize your ride on the go is always a good thing. Out on the road, on this machine, this suspension setup allows you to be more in tune with the motorcycle and not only ride but stop with better confidence too.
Now at 2,80,000 rupees, that is of course the most affordable of this bunch of motorcycles, and for that price still get a very enticing package because, well, the engine, the chassis, the suspension, more than acceptable in fact, and you will enjoy the space arrangement for the rider, the pillion, your luggage, everything. A very nice package all throughout. Now you have 4 different variants of the 390 Adventure to choose from, all catering to different preferences of riding style requirements. But then again, has it made the 390 Adventure a better all-round motorcycle? Yes, it has the top spec version because it is a fantastic tourer and it behaves just the way you want it to behave, and that is really something that you will appreciate once you get your hands on this motorcycle.
KTM India does have plans to launch many motorcycles between this year and the next, but the one we are eagerly waiting for is the KTM E-Duke, which will be powered by a 10 kilowatt motor. We will be back very shortly after this very quick break. On the other side, we'll tell you all about the Indian Supercross Racing League. Stay tuned, you're watching Overdrive.
If you really are an environment lover, you've got to cut the crap, brother.
The all-electric and environment-friendly MG Comet Evil, the no-nonsense car.
Keeping up with the pace of life is not easy. To find the perfect balance, we need to savor the pause. See? It never ends.
Delivery. There is a large block. Understand in the block deal, the leading private equity investor was a seller. BHEL is buzzing in trade today, and there is an anticipation of a large order coming for BHEL very soon. The promoter entity of Adani Group, understand from sources, were on the selling side, and a large leading US-based fund was a buyer in today's block. We have confirmation of both. The promoter entities are sold and have raised 15,500 crores by selling stake in the 4 group companies, and the buyer is GQG Partners.
Tune in to NSE Closing Bell as we spot deals before they happen, decode their impact on stock prices, and help you stay ahead of the markets. CNBC-TV18. Follow the leader. a show that is unmatched.
We tell you stocks to watch out for and which sectors are impacted.
Thought-provoking.
In India, the allocation to equity is about 5 to 10%, which is not beating inflation. So investing aggressively can actually look at even beating inflation.
And will give you maximum value for your money.
It is a good time to look at debt funds as a category. There's no better time than this in that sense to lock in rates for the long term.
A masterclass with India's biggest market experts. Smart money at these times.
Powered by Bandhan Mutual Fund.
Welcome back, you're watching Overdrive. Now, why should the league genre of sport be confined to cricket, football or just esports, right? Motorsports wants in too. And now India is finally gearing up to their very first CEAT Indian Supercross Racing League in collaboration with the Federation of Motorsports Clubs of India. Now, this will be the very first franchise-based Supercross League to take place in India in October in New Delhi, and it will bring together international as well as Indian racing talents under one roof. Take a look.
The CEAT Indian Supercross Racing League, in collaboration with the Federation of Motorsports Clubs of India, is all set to revolutionize motorsports in India, bringing together adrenaline pumping and fierce competition. This league is the first ever franchise-based Supercross racing league, bringing riders from all over the world to compete in various formats and categories. The first season will commence at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in New Delhi in October 2023, followed by events in prominent metro cities such as Mumbai, Pune and Ahmedabad. From October to December 2023, fans across these cities will witness the breathtaking displays of skills, daring maneuvers and high-speed action that will redefine Supercross racing. We got the opportunity to speak to one of the co-founders of Supercross India, Mr. Ishan Lokhande, and here's what he had to say about the league.
Supercross is a controlled version of dirt biking in stadiums, in arenas, in venues, which is run under a guidance of the federation, the FMSCI, which is the governing body. So this becomes a sport. There is free riding, there is dirt biking, there is rallies. So Supercross becomes a sport which is in an enclosed area under strict safety norms, man-made tracks where riders take out their motocross bikes and go head-on-head, jumping, maneuvering turns, corners and obstacles. Being the youngest country, now we have 18 to 35 as the TG, which gets attracted towards action sports, adventure, and high adrenaline stuff, and Supercross is the right fit. It delivers all these things. It's excitement, there are no retakes, there is drama, and there is adrenaline rush. So I think there's a huge potential if it is presented rightly, and I think we are on the right track to do that. So 5 years down the line, I think this will be as big as any other sporting league. Motocross bikes are meant for a single purpose. They are dirt bikes made for racing. So you won't see indicators, you won't see side stands or unnecessary stuff which you require as per the road norms. These are dirt bikes made for racing. They're high-powered machines with longer suspension and made for time and not distance. For example, a 250cc would be 40 odd bhp and 98 kilos weight. So the power to weight ratio, that's what the magic is in a Supercross bike.
Well, on that note, it's time for us to wrap up this week's edition of Overdrive. But remember, you can stay in touch with the team through Facebook, Twitter as well as YouTube. And you can follow our latest updates on Instagram. We'll see you next week. Until then, drive and ride safe.